Welcome everybody to Cult of the Lamb. Cult of the Lamb is a roguelike developed by Massive Monster, based in Australia. Is this just a recreation of Australia? That explained the literal monsters and giant spiders roaming around. The game released around 2022. You may ask, so gaming, why would you make a video about a game that's 3 years old? Well, my dear viewer and potential subscriber, Massive Monster made a new mode called Penitence. Penitence?
Penitence.
Whatever. The new post detailing a new massive DLC coming to Cult of the Lamb in early 2026. So I thought, why not try a new form of content along with the announcement? I never really do commentary videos or videos like this in general, so it's for more testing the waters. Without further ado, let's finally talk about the actual game. This isn't what I expected when they said free candy. You are, as the name suggests, the lamb, lured in with the promises of free candy. You get caught and brought before the 4 Roblox devs, bishops, Leshy, Hextet, Kalamar, and Shamura. I probably butchered those names horribly, but please excuse me. They each sport an injury that doesn't look like it came from a simple game of pickup basketball. They claim you are the last piece of a prophecy that cannot be completed, bounding another to eternal captivity while preserving the old faith. One last act to keep the prophecy incomplete, a flash of white into complete darkness. Chains rattling, shaking, a figure stood far, wrapped with metal. This was no mere prisoner. Speaking in a similar dialect as the bishops, he introduces himself as almost as if he predicted your arrival. He instructs you to build a cult in his name, bestows you limitless power within the red crown, and resurrects your body, is what I would be saying if
Penitence
mode didn't just start you off at the cult base. The
Penitence
mode is a mode which requires you to eat food and sleep, or you just straight up lose. Not respawn, no nothing, you just lose. You lose your save file. That means doing everything again. I ain't trying to do all that, so let's make sure we eat and sleep. You can't build a cult without 2 things, followers and resources. Followers need to worship us, to kiss the ground beneath our feet, to generate devotion and certain points to make us stronger. Resources give us food, building materials, and other helpful benefits. We have to recruit potential followers willingly or unwittingly, and resources can be found within the cult base or in the dungeons. I mentioned earlier in the video that Cult of the Lamb is a roguelike, which means you are expected to die over and over again. Don't be discouraged because every run means you gather more experience or more materials become stronger, which means you eventually beat it. I do also want to add, because I have severe brain damage, I decided to jump to this mode on the hardest difficulty. Even though I haven't played it since it was released, I still have my little Cthulhu follower form when I pre-ordered it. First things first, we need materials. We have just enough to make a shrine, cooking sand, and a temple. I do want to get this out of the way. I know the game is called Cult of the Lamb, but I chose to be a goat. I apologize, but I want to try something new. Sue me. Back into the gameplay that isn't resource gathering or lore. Let's talk about the dungeons. Dungeons are a multi-stage, multi-part adventure you embark on. You have your standard weapon and curse. There are a large variety of weapon and curses that all do different things, such as a literal musket weapon and a curse that's just a magical sword swing. Of course, weapons and curses aren't the only tools given to you on these expeditions. You're also given tarot cards that benefit you one way or another, giving you extra hearts or becoming an actual windmill. Sadly, as good as these cards are, you cannot keep them for the next run. Whenever you progress to the end of the stage, you are given an option of different routes. For example, you could go to the route where you get a new follower, Or if you're in need of food or resources, there are also routes which have special rooms like a room that has a dude with no heart. At the last stage, you must fight a boss, whether it be a monster or the bishop. Remember I mentioned earlier how you're expected to die? Yeah, you probably shouldn't, because not only do you lose progress, you lose half of your materials and your followers think you're hot garbage. Speaking of follower faith, your followers, as much as you want them to be, are not mindless zombies. They have needs like food and sleep. They have wants and desires, some stranger than others. Yeah, I'm looking at you, Valifar. Why would you even want this along with thinking before it? You've got some freaks among this cult. Sometimes when follower morale is too low from actions not favored by the cult, dissenters will arise from your followers, spewing lies and deceit. You can either take care of them or re-educate them to love the cult once more. I am barely scratching the surface of this game. There are mountains and mountains of lore with so much cult customization, follower interactions, unique encounters that I can't just cover in a single video. You can also add Twitch integration so even your followers can be members of your cult if you're an avid streamer. Again, I am just dipping my toes in the video essay type of content within this game, so if you do enjoy this type of content, please like, comment, and follow to show me that I should keep going along with my video edits.